They were rich,
famous, and arrested. These 5 celebrities made headlines once, but wait till you hear what Daniel Baldwin did in a New York hotel. Let's dive in. John Stamos, best known as the smiling Uncle Jesse on Full House, grew up in a stable Chicago family, but like many, struggled behind the scenes. In June 2015, he was arrested for DUI in Los Angeles after being stopped at a checkpoint. The iconic photo of him in handcuffs was a wake-up call. Stamos later admitted, "It convinced me to get sober, never again." He entered rehab, credited his wife and son, and has remained sober since, using the experience to advocate for recovery. What makes his story stand out is the speed of his turnaround. Rather than deny, deflect, or disappear, Stamos leaned in. He used the very platform that once glorified him to talk about his flaws. That kind of public honesty, especially from someone tied to a feel-good show, showed fans that even those we put on pedestals are human. The lesson here? Sometimes public embarrassment leads to private transformation. And sometimes you need to hit bottom to discover what truly matters. Stamos's humility, combined with the strength he found in family, proves that accountability and support can turn a single bad moment into lifelong change. Adversity can spark humility and motivation for positive change. His recovery journey didn't just affect him, it inspired fans who saw him as more than a sitcom character. Today, he openly discusses sobriety, becoming a quiet advocate for mental health, and how confronting his lowest point gave him the clarity he needed to grow stronger. Known for American Pie and early fame, Klein had a troubled relationship with alcohol. In February 2005, he was arrested for DUI in San Diego, and again in June 2010 in Los Angeles. Following the second arrest, Klein checked into a 30-day alcohol treatment program, with his publicist confirming he understood he cannot beat this addiction alone. Since then, he's spoken openly about recovery and rebuilt a stable family life. The life lesson? Even with fame and fortune, addiction doesn't discriminate, and admitting vulnerability can be the first step toward healing. Klein's journey reflects the silent burden many celebrities carry, the expectation to be on at all times. Fame can amplify personal battles, and without a solid support system, coping mechanisms can spiral into addiction. For Klein, the turning point wasn't just legal, it was emotional. He has mentioned in later interviews that fatherhood and the desire to be fully present for his children played a huge role in maintaining his sobriety. What stands out is his willingness to disappear from the limelight to focus on healing, something rare in an industry that pressures stars to constantly stay visible. By stepping back, Klein demonstrated that sometimes real strength lies in pausing, not performing. His comeback wasn't about a blockbuster role, it was about inner peace and quiet consistency. His case underscores a broader truth. Accountability doesn't erase the past, but it does allow for growth. While many remember his stumbles, those who followed his story know the resilience behind the scenes. His message today to others facing similar demons: seek help early. Don't wait for rock bottom, because starting over is always possible, but only if you're honest with others and yourself. Daniel Baldwin, a member of the famous Baldwin acting family, had his own path. In 1998, he was famously arrested running naked through New York's Plaza Hotel and charged with cocaine possession. He pled guilty to disorderly conduct and entered 3 months of rehab. But legal troubles continued. In 2006, caught with drug paraphernalia and later arrested for a high-speed crash into parked cars at 80 miles per hour. That same year, he was booked for alleged grand theft auto. Baldwin's repeated run-ins led to interventions. He appeared on Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew, but left early. His story reminds us, untreated addiction often spirals, and recovery is rarely linear. The lesson? No matter how many mistakes, seeking professional help and persistence can still carve a path forward. While Daniel Baldwin's past was marred by chaos, his story didn't end in failure. In interviews, he's acknowledged how much his actions impacted his children, noting that guilt and shame became catalysts for eventual change. He later began working in addiction recovery advocacy, speaking at events and producing content that raised awareness about the cycles of substance abuse. Though he left Celebrity Rehab early, he later revealed he continued treatment privately, away from cameras. This decision underscored a vital truth. Recovery doesn't always look the same for everyone. Some people need structure, others need space. But the commitment to change is what truly matters. Baldwin has also used his platform to discuss mental health, arguing that drug addiction is often a symptom, not the root, of deeper pain. His openness gave his story new weight, moving beyond tabloid spectacle into meaningful impact.
Vince Vaughn,
comedy mainstay from Swingers and Wedding Crashers, was arrested on June 10, 2018 for DUI and resisting arrest in Manhattan Beach. Known for his larger-than-life persona, Vaughn took this incident seriously, facing sobriety challenges and police consequences. He later spoke about the arrest as a necessary jolt, committing to regular self-checks and saying that responsibility comes with public life. His lesson? Even those who seem invincible can benefit from accountability, grounding through self-awareness and humility. Following the incident, Vince Vaughn made a conscious decision to step back from his typical fast-paced social life. In an interview months later, he said the experience reset his sense of direction. While he didn't go into rehab, he emphasized making long-term lifestyle changes, including more time with family and more selective choices about his film projects. His fans noticed the shift, not just in the roles he picked, but in how he spoke publicly. Gone was the carefree bachelor persona. Instead, Vaughn began championing mental clarity and personal responsibility. He also started supporting causes related to DUI prevention and responsible drinking. This pivot didn't erase the past, but it reframed it. Vaughn's journey showed that you don't need a complete image overhaul to grow. You just need intention and follow through. Public missteps, especially when you're famous, can either define you or refine you. And in Vince Vaughn's case, it was the latter. His story is a reminder that humor, when coupled with humility, can be a powerful tool for recovery. He may have built his fame on wild characters, but his growth off-screen proves that even Hollywood rebels can evolve and inspire others to do the same.
David Cassidy,
70s teen idol from the Partridge Family, presented a wholesome image but privately dealt with alcohol. In November 2010, he was arrested DUI in Florida. Followed by a 2013 NUI DUI with 10-0C, he faced license suspensions and rehab. Another DUI in California in 2014 led to inpatient rehab and 5-year probation. His multiple arrests highlight how addiction can torment long after initial success. Cassidy eventually spoke candidly about the shame and isolation it caused. His final message: recovery is lifelong vigilance, and even public failure can prompt private courage. David Cassidy's story didn't end with headlines, it evolved into a lesson. As his struggles became public, his honesty made space for conversations that mattered. In later interviews, Cassidy admitted how fame masked his internal battles. His openness about addiction didn't just redeem his image, it helped others see that no amount of past success protects you from present demons. His daughter, Katie Cassidy, reflected publicly on their complex relationship, acknowledging how addiction ripples through generations. Cassidy's life became more than a cautionary tale. It became a case study in accountability. He made mistakes, owned them, and worked to make peace with them before his death. He may have once represented the polished ideal of a TV heartthrob, but in the end, he represented something deeper, the truth that being human means being imperfect and still worthy of redemption. This isn't just scandal, it's a mirror. If this made you reflect, subscribe for weekly videos turning pop culture scandals and even crimes into real-life strategies for individuals, professionals, and entrepreneurs.